Our project is located in southern Mexico, where there is a vast biological, cultural, and traditional diversity. The NGOs in this project have been working together for about 10 years, implementing a watershed management plan in the Valle de Jovel watershed. You can see the watershed, and the main city in this watershed is San Cristobal de las Casas, which is in the valley, in the photo. San Cristobal has a population of almost 200,000 inhabitants. As population is rapidly growing, the main challenge for the city is the decrease in the quantity and quality of water for urban use. In this region, water is captured and infiltrated by the adjacent highland forest. You can see the valley is surrounded by highland forest. In this region, water is, the forest has been lost for more than 50% due to urban growth, illegal logging, and the extraction of stone materials for construction. This generates additional problems in the valley, like sediment deposition and the transformation of the high mountains wetlands as unique and rare ecosystems. This also leaves the city exposed to the effects of climate change. Today, there are only 7 springs supplying water to the city, some of which have started to diminish during the dry season. I cannot pass this, the next, okay, thank you. Let's talk a little bit about our team. We are 3 NGOs who have responded to the request of Ejido La Albarrada, an indigenous community in San Cristobal municipality. Ejido Albarrada asked us to formalize the conservation of the forest and strengthen the ecotourism project Montetic Park as a livelihood opportunity for this low-income community. Ejido La Albarrada started Montetic Project Park in December 2019. And early this year, 2021, the community contacted us and asked for collaboration to strengthen their conservation efforts. It has been very fortunate for us to be participating in Thriving Cities Challenge, as their purpose and ours are completely aligned. We believe that the best strategy to maintain water security in our city is to protect what we call the crown of San Cristobal. That is the forest surrounding the city, such as the Montetic Ecotourism Park and Ejido La Albarrada. Please let me introduce you Don Fidencio, a representative of Ejido La Albarrada, who has some words to say to you. Don Fidencio, please go ahead.
Buenas tardes, soy Fidencio Pérez, miembro del Ejido La Albarrada en San Cristóbal de las Casas. Somos una comunidad indígena tzotzil con 1,800 habitantes. Nuestra historia nos dice que es importante conservar los árboles. Hemos sido testigos de comunidades vecinas transforman su bosque y tienen que buscar otras formas de vida en la ciudad que son más complicadas y alejadas de nuestras tradiciones. Por eso, desde hace más de 15 años, decidimos no cortar los árboles, porque sabemos que solo así seguiremos teniendo agua, plantas medicinales, madera y otras cosas para la vida diaria de nuestras familias. En 2019, creamos el Parque Ecoturístico Montetic como una forma de proteger el bosque y tener un medio de vida aliado a la conservación. Pero no lo sabemos todo y queremos fortalecer nuestro proyecto, dar un paso más allá para realizar acciones que nos den mejores condiciones de vida, a la vez nuestros bosques se conserven. Por eso buscamos a Pronatura para pedir colaboración y ayudarnos entre todos y hacer las cosas de mejor manera. Estamos muy entusiasmados de formar parte de este proyecto que les agradecemos por la oportunidad de dirigirnos a ustedes el día de hoy. Mi comunidad Me pidió que les enviara un saludo. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Don Fidencio. Let's talk a little bit about our project location. In the map, we show the Jovel Valley watershed in turquoise color, and you can see the city of San Cristobal in the valley. 3 years ago, we formed the Jovel Valley Reset Network with the objective of protecting the forest crown of San Cristobal. We included 3 private protected areas around the city. You can see the protected areas in green polygons around the city, and 2 wetlands in the valley, which are protected public property. Ejido La Albarrada is adjacent to the city. You can see it in red polygon. It has an area of 800 hectares and forms a connectivity corridor with the Jovel Valley Reserve Network, making it extremely important for water catchment, climate regulation, and many other environmental services. Montetic Park in green polygon within the Ejido territory is increasingly important for the city's population as a recreational and peaceful space, especially in this time of pandemic. So in this project, we will formalize a conservation easement with the community, with the Ejido, incorporate this area into the Jovel Valley Reset Network, restore at least 50 hectares of degraded areas, improve Montetic Park's ecotourism infrastructure, strengthen the Ejido's capacity to provide ecotourism services, train community guides and monitors, implement a communication and awareness campaign to position Montetic Park and the Ejido's forest as an important area for ecosystem services. In addition, with some matching funds, we seek to empower and support communities to negotiate complementary resources, influence local public policies to favor innovative conservation and compensation schemes. Let me finish with some final thoughts. The only way to achieve equity and water security in cities like San Cristobal is to involve indigenous communities that inhabit and own the forests. This project takes them into account and empowers them to build win-to-win relationships. This will favor the connectivity of priority areas for the provision of environmental services, co-responsibility between cities and their watersheds, the construction of innovative compensation mechanisms for communities and private participation. We believe this is a wonderful opportunity to develop a replicable model for other regions in southern Mexico. Thank you so much. Thank you, Salazar Center, for this wonderful experience, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was a great presentation. Evaluators, feel free to go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. And I love the visuals. It seems like a beautiful area. I have a lot of questions, but one question about, I think it was the last bullet on your slide about the innovative compensation mechanisms. I think I have an idea, but can you, I don't know, tell me a little bit more about what that actually means, what that looks like, and how that benefits the community?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, hi, I am Rosana Landa. I am part of the Mexican Fund for the Conservation of Nature, and I am partner with Pronatura, the community, and Sabes. Well, Pronatura is part of a larger initiative that is called Watersheds and Cities. And in this initiative, we are working in different parts of Mexico, trying to do integrated watershed management. And we have one of our strategic lines is to develop financial mechanisms in the long term. So here in Mexico, almost all the forest is owned by communities. We have this figure that is called ejido, or communal land, and is social property. So this innovative mechanism, what we are trying to do is that these communities, this land is their livelihood. So we, in the cities, we want them to conserve them, but they don't have money to do that, or they need to use it for to have, to improve their quality of life. So we think in the Watersheds and City program that we need to compensate these communities because they are conserving for the well-being of the people in the cities. So we, in our program, we already have some examples that are already working in other parts of Mexico, where families are donating through the receipt in the water for the communities that are conserving. And we have two examples. One is voluntary, and the other one, we have been able to change laws in the city. So in the city, there is some money is destined for that. So that's an example that we want to do in this place too. Of course, all the context in every part of Mexico is different, and we have 3-year cycles of administrations. So that's part of the things we will try to do in these projects, so they can have money in the long term.
Thank you, Rosanna.
Yes.
I have a question. So in the proposal, it seems that one of the drivers of degradation is logging and other forms of industry. Will this group, or does this group work with the private sector or these industries at all? How have those relationships been, or do you feel like there's been any challenges around that? I'm just curious because they seem to be such an important part of this, of the challenge that you are trying to solve for. Yes,
definitely. Well, yes, regarding the forest, there are several places, patches of forest that are being managed in a legal way, let's say, community forestry. There are some places with that, but also there is a lot of illegal logging. In Chiapas states where we live, the institutions in charge or responsibility for conservation and forest management, they have a strategy for working to reduce this logging or stop it. It's been very difficult. It's been very difficult to even to implement the strategy. It needs, political will, of course. So a lot of corruption and many of the industries that extract the material for construction, sand and stone, many of them are, the owners are the same politicians, people in the power or owners of big private enterprises. And it's been difficult. It's a big challenge for decades, and we have been fighting for stopping that. There is a specific strategy. We have tried several strategies from the civil society, the NGOs, and many other groups of people, urban people, or organized social groups in the colonies. We have been fighting to stop that. It's still a big challenge. But we are aware of that, and we are having all these other strategies to confront that.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Gil.
Thank you. I think the main problem of the water is for the people of San Cristobal de las Casas. How are they supporting your project? Because if there's no water, the problem is for them. So, for example, if you get $100,000, can you tell them, okay, we find money, but then you got to put a counterpart. or how to engage them? What kind of support are you getting from them? How are you working with the local government? What kind of commitment, both from the local as well as from the state or the national government, to be part of the project, the same way that you are getting the indigenous people to be part of the project?
Great question. Thank you for making it. We have also an initiative named Jovel Valley Watershed Committee. We actually the several stakeholders in this watershed, we formed this committee, which is integrated with people from government, all levels, from federal government, actually CONAGUA, Water Commission, National Commission for Water, a federal agency, also state agencies and municipality, local agencies. So public sector and also private sector, and NGOs, academic sector, and group of people from colonies or local colonies, right? So in this committee, we are bringing to the table all these actors, and we have a watershed management plan with a specific goals in the long term. So we, of course, always the challenge is the change of administration and many other issues, right? Actually, tomorrow we are having the new administration for the municipality here in San Cristobal. So, but we have these kind of spaces or initiatives for working on all other issues to bring in all the people, all the stakeholders to the table.
If I may also say that the project also we are seeking to do a communication campaign, and this communication campaign will be targeted to the different publics, and that includes the government too. And through this committee, which is the committee, an interinstitutional committee, we will try to position this project in that committee, so that committee at the same time positions the value of the community conserving their forest in the government. So we are trying to seek for these matching funds for the project and also a long-term mechanism. So yes, we are considering all the sectors to be cooperating to help the community, but not only this community, also other communities in the upper part of the watershed, right, near San Cristobal, because you're right, the problem is for the city.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pronatura Sur. That was a wonderful presentation, and we really appreciate your time.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.